Hi, world. I quickly want to tell you about something that happened yesterday. I got together with a couple of friends. One is a social worker and one is a psychiatric nurse. And I wish I had a hidden mic on me. Like, I can't pull out my phone and start recording every conversation I have with my friends, my professional friends. They have reputations that they're worried about. They don't want to risk having their careers ruined. And I understand that. But we had such an interesting conversation that I just wanted to tell you about. We were talking about the state of the world and just how awful it is, how messed up people are. And we all agree that it is because of the way we are raising our kids. We're not raising them. That's what we're doing. We're handing them off to other people to raise for us. Starting at a very young age, we're putting infants into daycare and preschool and school. And then when they're not in school, we shuffle them off to different sports and activities. We're overscheduling them and we're not spending quality time with them. And divorce has become normalized. My kids' friends, I would say more than half of them come from broken homes. And it's just really sad. People are not acknowledging the devastating impact of divorce on children. It can have lifelong negative mental health consequences. And so what we have is a generation, maybe a couple of generations now, of people who were not raised with love. And they don't know what love is. And so a lot of times these people are damaged because they were spanked, which is scientifically proven to lead to mental health issues, an increased risk of anxiety, depression, and self-esteem issues, as well as addiction. Anyway, so they're growing up and they're trying to connect because we all have a desire to form bonds with others. But in trying to connect with others, they fail because they were not taught the coping skills. Not coping skills, the skills, relationship skills, how to be in a relationship. And so their relationships fail and they realize that, to be in a relationship, you need to do some work on yourself. If you're not in a healthy place mentally and emotionally, then you need to address that and work on yourself. And a lot of people, I'd say most people nowadays, they don't want to do that. And so they drown themselves in eating, drugs, alcohol, work, sex, all kinds of addictions, gambling, whatever, shopping, and they are not focusing on themselves and on healing themselves. So relationships become too much work, too difficult. There's so much pain involved with that, and so they give up. And they what do? They get a dog. I'm gonna link you to this article. Well, it's not an article. It's from the Reddit dog free site, and they talk about they're talking about what has led to this dog worship. And the bottom line is that people want instant gratification. They don't want to do the work on themselves that needs to be done before they can get into a healthy relationship. So they just want to feel good now. They want someone or something to show them affection on demand. You don't have to do anything really to earn your dog's affection. They're going to lick you no matter what. And the sad thing is, and by the way, it wasn't just me saying this. Like, my friends are in agreement. My social worker friend was saying that, it's very sad because they see it a lot in their practice. The people who have given up on people. They've given up on humans, and the dog is the only thing that keeps them going, their reason for living. And they use the dog as a crutch. And so my friend was saying that all these behaviors that they think is love is not love at all. I've talked about this in previous videos about how dogs don't love you. The tail wagging, the excited behavior, the licking, These are remnants of juvenile wolf behaviors, food-seeking behaviors. Juvenile wolves lick around the mouths of adult wolves to get them to regurgitate so that they can eat the vomit of these older pack members, and so they delude themselves into believing their dogs love them, and they settle for these food-seeking behaviors, believing these behaviors to be love, and they are just living in a fantasy. And they will go on and on about how dogs love you unconditionally, and they build up this whole story in their heads about how loving dogs are and loyal, and they're just not at all. And I realized in this conversation, I just started to feel really sad. It's so incredibly sad. These grown-ups, they're not kids anymore. They're fully grown, but inside they're still like wounded children that I just was feeling really, really sad for. And I was just realizing that all the times I've felt angry at dog owners for bringing their dogs to the beach, for example, and acting as though their dogs are on the same level as human children, I would just feel disgust and anger, And now, really, it's just, today I'm just feeling really sad after that conversation I had with my friends. It's just so sad because these people, they don't know what love is. They can't even imagine what love is. The love that healthy people enjoy, the connections that we form and the bonds we have with others. Although they might be challenging at times, we face the challenges and we communicate and we deal with things in a healthy way. And we work through our problems with others. But some people who are unable to do this are simply unaware of the depth of love that we can experience when we are in a relationship with another human being. And it's something that dogs will never come close to being able to offer because the relationship you have with a dog is imaginary. It's like being attached to a stuffed animal. It is exactly the same because it's all imaginary. People are not seeing reality. They're not seeing dogs for what they are. So they think that that is love. Now, isn't that sad? To have a best friend that's unable to understand you when you speak. Imagine, and can never offer you any feedback or any real understanding or support, will never be able to engage in meaningful conversation with you, does not understand even what your personality is or anything. Because all it cares about is food. Imagine having a best friend like that, and the only thing they cared about is food. Dogs have no empathy. They have no compassion. They don't care about you at all. At all. I saw this article the other day about how they're bringing therapy dogs into this elementary school somewhere, and they were saying that the dogs care about the children. No, they don't. They don't care at all because they don't have the capacity to care. This is proven. Dogs lack empathy. They're unable to experience shame or guilt, and therefore are not able to experience love. They can't experience regret or remorse. You need to experience that before you can love someone. So anyway, I just thought I would put this out there that it's really, really, really sad how these people are just living a life that is just, it has no love in it. Really. Try to feel sorry for them. At the very least, it helps me to understand where these people are coming from. They're very, very sick. And I've said that before, they're sick. This is a mental illness. It is. But I would say it with an indignant sort of hostile tone, yeah, you're sick, get some help kind of thing. But think about it. They are really, really sick. It's not their fault. Well, is it? I don't know. I've known people in my life. I'm not going to make this a secret. I have been to AA. I'm 22 years sober, and at one point in my life, I really was messed up. And I used to say, I hate children. I used to say I'm never going to have kids. I'm going to live alone for the rest of my life, and I'm going to have cats. I used to say that because I had a cat at the time, loved my cat, right? And all of my relationships, especially romantic relationships, had failed miserably, and I was angry and hurt, and I did not want to ever go through that again. And I grew up in a very dysfunctional family, and didn't really know what love was. And so I didn't know what I was missing, but only after nearly dying and deciding to go to AA and do work on myself to become healthier and to, work through my issues. Only after I did that was I able to enter into a healthy relationship with a healthy individual. I didn't know what that was prior. It scared me. I would push away healthy guys, and I was only attracted to, bad boys and stuff like that were just emotionally unavailable or just downright rotten, abusive people. I had no idea what I was missing. And only after I learned what I was missing and, currently enjoy a happy marriage of 16 years and 3 wonderful children, I didn't know I was able to love like this. I didn't know that this existed. And my feelings for dogs and cats have changed dramatically. As you know, I currently despise dogs with the passion, with the intensity of a million suns. But what I want to say is, although I was able to get sober and stay sober, a lot of people were not and are not. A lot of the people I went to AA with are dead, overdosed. A lot of my good friends are dead because not everyone is able to get sober. Why that is, I could sit here and talk about that all day. I think what it is like for some people, the demons that they need to face, the problems that they have to, work through, those demons are just too scary. And I can tell you that for some people, death is actually a more attractive option than facing their demons. And oftentimes they will choose death. I've seen a lot of people commit suicide because it's not easy to face your demons. Some traumas are extremely difficult to acknowledge even. People want to just shut it out of their minds. So, it's not like it's easy to change. It's definitely possible, and some people do it. And I'm one of them. But, a lot of people, and I would venture to say most people, are unable to face their demons because it's just too scary. And not only is it scary, it's impossible for some people to face their demons. We talked about how the human brain has this amazing ability to block out memories and to protect us. If the memory is so awful that a person would suffer severe mental damage were they to remember it, the brain will actually shut off certain, or how do I say it? Will just like block out certain memories so people won't remember. And it will, and this is the mechanism for denial. People will refuse to admit that they are that they have a problem because doing so would have consequences that would be just too difficult for them to cope with. Some people don't want to admit that their parents abused them or were dysfunctional or traumatized them or something because doing so would have social implications or, it's just, it would have effects that would just be too negative, and they don't want that. So they cling to their denial and they don't want to acknowledge the truth. Because doing so would just be too hard. And not only do they not want to acknowledge the truth, my friends were saying in some cases they can't. Their brains just won't let them. And in that sense, it really isn't their fault that they are choosing to remain sick. Because the alternative, like I said, their brain just won't let them process the trauma. So, can we be angry at these people? I don't think so. Really, it's a disease just like diabetes or whatever. It's not their fault that their brains are doing this. And this is the reason a lot of dog lovers get vicious and furious and lash out and attack you and want to, destroy your character and ruin your reputation. They do this because the possibility of them being wrong about dogs is just too difficult for them to bear. And if they admit that they were wrong about dogs, if they admit that their dogs don't love them, then the effects of that, the consequences of that, would be so damaging to them that their brains just can't handle that expression. You can't handle the truth. It's so true. This is what it is. These people cannot handle the truth. And so I just feel really sad for these people that they are not willing to work on themselves and to face their demons. And it's just so tragic. It truly is. It doesn't excuse what they are doing because they are endangering the entire society with their reckless behavior. And that is not okay. And we need to point that out. But I think we should try to just cultivate more compassion for them, I guess. Not only is that healthier than anger, I really do think that anger leads to health problems. Just holding on to that rage all the time. It's not healthy to be so stressed out all the time. I think that feeling sad for them is maybe not healthy, but healthier, I think. And maybe I'm just talking out of my ass right now. I don't know. But they, you hear them say that anger is not healthy. I'm trying not to be angry anymore. It just doesn't feel good to be so angry all the time. So bottom line is I'm trying and I'm seeing how these people are just very sick people. And to truly understand where that stems from. How did they end up this way? It's through no fault of their own. They were damaged as kids. They were not nurtured and loved as children. And that is what needs to change. That is the crux of the problem in our society. And that is why we are seeing so many problems, like people's mental health, and just all the problems in society, would not be there if people were being raised by healthy people. We really we have to look at who's having kids. It should not be that teenagers, people who are messed up, not ready to provide a healthy upbringing for a child, should not be having children. Bottom line. People need to recognize how harmful it is for children to be in foster care. People say, "Oh, give it up for adoption," as though it's nothing. Adoption has lifelong negative effects on an individual, emotionally and mentally. It can severely, diminish their quality of life. It's just not fair to bring unwanted kids into the world. Anyways, I'm going off topic. The topic is dog owners and how sick and sad they are. Read through this Reddit page. It's really interesting, and I think it's spot on. And I thank you for listening to me just rambling on here. I mentioned that I am going to be taking a break for a while, or at least slowing down with my videos. And I'm not going to be putting in the time and the effort into making videos for the next little bit because I have an exciting art project I'm working on, and I have a couple of books I need to read. So I will see you when I see you. And no, I do not know what happened to I Hate Dogs. I hope he's okay. I Hate Dogs, if you do listen to this by any chance, we're all worried about you, and we know how crazy dog lovers are. And we just hope you're okay, and we hope that you'll let us know that you're okay. All right, guys, take it easy, and I'll talk to y'all later. Future's dog-free.